I don't care. The chat's hearing it live. We had a hot mic, Baron. We had a hot mic. Yeah, we had a hot mic. They got to see the raw, unfiltered. Hey, that's what happens. That's what happens. Live TV. But anyway.
Yeah, so Dakota, there's that scheduled one. There is 400 people sitting in that one, and the live one there's 251 people sitting in that.
Let's see if we could get this one
I
back.
looked at the date wrong.
Yeah, let's see if we can get this one back. Let's see. Hold up. Someone says, Dakota, who's the dick? Don't worry. Don't worry about
They're
that.
saying they can't hear me.
They should be able to hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah, let's
Someone
make
in the
sure we can have. I want to make sure everyone can watch this. There was an issue with the stream key on my end. For some reason, there's two streams that one went live, then stopped. I want to make sure nobody's waiting on the other one.
There is people waiting on that one.
Okay.
There's 400 people waiting in the upcoming stream.
Yeah, I see that. Here, I'm just gonna copy and paste this on there, make sure that everybody's in the right place. And then I'm gonna copy and paste that same thing in the other chat. Dude, Joe Black's still going at it.
That's
in the
crazy.
other chat, he's still going at it.
That is crazy.
I'm just. I'm speechless. I'm speechless on that one, man.
Yeah, I'm already in a long. This to me looks like it's just gonna keep making higher highs. So I'm just gonna, whenever it comes up, makes a new high, I'm gonna take it off, and then when it dips back down, I'll just buy it as it makes higher lows. That's kind of the plan right now, for me at least. I took 2 trades. So I got long in this region, in this consolidation for the gap to close, and then it started moving up. Took that off for, I think, was a $600, and then I got long again when this came down here, and I took it off for 1,000. So
okay, great trade,
pretty
man.
clean long.
Great trade. You are trading it up really well. I'm still running through, making sure everything looks good. So keep it up. I'm going to take care of a couple of things on the back end, if you don't mind.
Okay, yeah. And we also, did you post the risk disclosure?
Not yet, but good call. Good shout on that. Hopefully.
Yeah,
let's go.
My friend Eric, who I live with now, he's always like, you forgot to do the risk disclosure, right? When I
Oh, man.
It's like, you forgot to do the risk disclosure.
We set the Nightbot up to do it really well, and it was on time, and then the time zones changed, and it screwed the Nightbot up. So here you go, everybody. Let's get it started. Welcome to Slow Markets, the correct live stream right here, right now. As always, in the YouTube chat, there is the Topstep risk disclosure. It's for educational purposes only. And yeah, not a signals class. It's not financial advice. And take it away, Baron. I'm going to finish a couple things behind the scenes.
So, I mean, okay, a lot of people, I think, have issues trading at all-time highs. I don't think all-time highs are that hard, guys. You just keep making new highs. That's what you expect from all-time highs. Just expect new highs to be made.
Is it that easy?
Yeah, it's just buy the dip, right, Dakota?
Buy the dip, yeah, and then I didn't.
Buy the dip. Yeah. No, just expect new highs to keep being made. I haven't checked ES. Did ES make new highs today? Or was it just NASDAQ? Okay, yeah, ES made new highs as well. So
let's see.
Yeah. ES was really solid in PM session. and then NASDAQ kind of died. ES had a nice little retracement, this nice little cup, and I don't know if this got to a fib level. Yeah, it got right down to 382, and then it started to move away, and then this just hit upper end extensions. I can pull up my trading view and show that really quick.
Okay.
So ES hit all these extensions. Like it did this little dip, and then it just kept running up to that one extension. NQ didn't hit the one extension. It almost did. It's hitting it right now, but it ran up, hit all these upper end extensions, hit the average daily range high. And it looks like we should have a pretty bullish Friday, in my opinion. Starting to break out of this consolidation area that we've been stuck in. I'd be cautious of a fake breakout, but I mean, we already had a fake breakout on Tuesday, and then we had a fake sell-off on Wednesday, and now we're having another breakout. So I'd look for this to just continue higher tomorrow and going into next week. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of my analysis right now.
Okay, I think we should be good. I shared that on the Twitterverse, so everyone should be up to par with where we're at. Great trading, dude. You out traded me today by far. I always admit it, and also big shout out to you. You always pay your bets.
I do pay my bets.
Yeah,
we should have made a bet today on fast markets.
I know.
We should have it be one bet a day. Or not one bet a day, one bet a week.
One bet a week. I like that. Yeah. That would make sense to me. And last one was like the long gold last week. It seems like it's been forever. And I woke up that morning and sure enough, didn't even need to reach out to you. You just sent me $50.
I checked it and I was like, damn, I lost my bet. Dude, on gold, I'm still screen sharing my trading view. On gold, dude. I took a short last night and it stopped me up by $1, and then it just ripped so low, dude. Made me mad. Because I put it on before I went to bed, and then I looked at it. I don't have the gold data package on Topstep.
Okay.
But I took it in a different account, and let me show this trading view again. This was the trade. It stopped me up by 1 point. And then it just
yes, I remember you telling me that the other day.
It's so infuriating because I woke up. This was at like midnight. I woke up and I was like, really? This dropped that far? And I was only going for like a 2.5 RR. Yeah. So yeah, that was infuriating.
Okay, I think everything's good to go. Let's go through. I'm gonna do a quick analysis, and then just interrupt me, man, if you see anything that you want to trade or if you have different opinions. NASDAQ is starting to sell off.
I'm in this NASDAQ long. Okay. I'm risking 500 for 1600, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. It's only like a 10-point stop though, so it is slow markets.
Yeah, I like it. I really do. So going over to my charts, I'm just going to review this from the top down. I'll be quick about this, and we'll continue to dive more in depth. So this is really what I was looking for, to be honest, was we've been consolidating for a while. I mean, it's basically most of July. I mean, it's the 17th today. But for the most part of July, we were consolidating from 23,100 down to 22,800. And today we just broke out. Not only did we break out, we closed at the all-time high, and we made all-time highs after hours. So extremely bullish. Last time we seen that, a nice breakout close candle. You can see how we had a continuation. So this, to me, looks very bullish. A breakout out of consolidation. Typically, you'd like to see continuation. If this thing was going to pull back, I am thinking it could have easily pulled back on that rejection, that wick, and we could have had that sell-off then. We didn't, and now I think we're going to be going straight up. I mean, tomorrow seems as bullish as it gets. Is it a situation where everyone's thinking the same thing, and then we all get our get our account smashed. But another thing I'm taking into consideration is this isn't as, it's not pretty looking, but it's kind of a channel here in the NASDAQ on the hourly chart where we're making higher lows, making higher highs. Could this be one of them? This is something that I'm just very little cautious about, where we have a nice rally and then that's been following, a little bit of a sell-off. So could this happen? That's possible. These rallies have not been, too overextended this month. And if I measure these rallies, I take a look at this. We are kind of at that point already. So I'm not bearish in any sense right now, but I'm cautious about getting into longs because we have been extended and we've already made a decent move, which seems
we also
to be
have earnings coming up too.
Say that again.
The other thing, we have earnings season coming up.
Yeah. All eyes on earnings season on these different stocks. I mean, especially when we're looking at the NASDAQ tech. So that's something I'm a little cautious about, is that we've made an average true move here looking at the hourly chart. But then as we zoom in, that 5-minute chart, I like that long. I mean, we rallied up. We consolidated since fast markets, right? We just kind of flatlined for most of the day. And we rallied tonight. Broke all-time highs tonight during this Asian session. And now we're at those 260s. The only thing I'm cautious about with this long trade is we might, if we do not hold these 60s, sell back down into those 40s. And that's just the bottom end of the range that we've been in since.
Yeah, I could see it. This long trade that I'm in, I could see it coming back down into the gap from open, just coming back down to 50s to, where is that, 65, somewhere in there, and then potentially find buyers in there. I do like how we consolidated at end of day, and whenever we had heavy selling attempts, we had 2 of them. Both of those got bought up pretty quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. Someone says in the chat, can you guys explain barcoding for me today? So let's go over this, Darren. Let's go over this.
No, Dakota, you're using it wrong. Like, you're not using it wrong, but the context where most people talk about barcoding, you're using it wrong in that sense.
You're correct. So you are correct on this. Okay, let's make sure the chat understands.
Okay.
The way I'm referring to it, and then the context that you're referring, because it's 2 different things.
Yeah.
Let me explain first, Baron, and then and then you go through, and I'm just going to talk about this because
Go for it.
There's 2 different ways at looking at it, because you could technically, the way I was using it, you could use barcoding and range interchangeably. So I'm looking at this. I'm going to look at the July 15th, okay, and the way I see those 5 hours is I refer to them as barcoding. Okay, that's the way I referred to these 5 hours on July 15th as a barcode. Now it's a higher time frame, but that is very tradable because when you zoom in, I'm going to keep that box over it, because when you zoom into, like, say, a 5-minute chart and you go to that date, that is very tradable. You buy low, sell high. It's a trend all the way down to the bottom, and it's a trend all the way back up to the top. And that's a very tradable day. But when I'm just looking at it from like an hourly chart, I'm like, that's barcoding. I could say the same thing, and what I reference on that daily chart, when we are in this range for the month, I'm saying, hey, the daily chart, we're barcoding here between these 22,800s and 23,100s. So that's where I refer to as barcoding. Okay. But I think what you mean is when we're talking about day trading and barcoding, it turns into just a crappy mess that you can't trade, which I think that was this.
Yeah, that's
today.
That is
this.
When most people talk about barcoding in NASDAQ's barcoding, why am I even looking at this?
Yeah.
It's back here where there's no trade to be had. So the way Dakota's talking about it, it's on a higher time frame, which I think it's still valid. But when most people are referring to it, it's, oh, this is just barcoding. There's not a trade to be really had in here unless you're literally just buying these lows and scalping it for, what is that, 15 points a pop. Yeah, this is like barcoding.
Correct. Yeah, and that's that's barcoding on a 5-minute is the worst kind of barcoding there is to me, because that's like my trading time frame, where you're looking for trades and executions on the 5-minute, and when that's barcoding, you might as well just say, hey, this price action is just trash. Close your charts and move on.
Go touch grass. Go touch grass.
Yeah, go touch grass. But then sometimes I will say barcoding on higher time frames, and I'm not referencing the trading. And yeah, that I wanted to make sure we got that cleared up so chat doesn't think we're just going at each other. Yeah, even though it was fun, it was entertaining, I think, for some of the chat.
Yeah. No, I think the chat gets a lot of entertainment when we're beefing over something together.
Yeah, they're like, oh man, these guys hate each other. Tomato. Making sure it was very clear and everyone kind of, and we could take the time to go over and explain it without the wildness of a fast markets, because it gets a little chaotic in the mornings.
I was 1 point from my stop on that dip down.
What was it? 63 is your stop?
Yeah, 63, and it dipped down to 64.25.
Oh man, where's your?
It dipped right below VWAP, and now it's coming back.
You're in 3 minis. Oh, that's right, because you're already up $1,600.
Yeah, so I'm in 3 minis. I'm risking $500, which isn't crazy. That's what I'll risk with 1 mini on New York session. So I'm just doing 3 minis on. I can size up since the volatility is lower.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. That's a good trade. So my toxic trait wants.
We'll see if it's a good trade or not.
Yeah. I mean, the setup right now is good because you already basically accepted the risk coming within the point. My toxic trade right now, my toxic trait is wanting to buy gold. Because we had that nice rally off of 33.15s. What is your opinion on this gold trade? I want to buy it, but then when I take a zoomed out look, it seems like that's not the good idea.
We rejected from there last night. That's where we started selling off hard last night, right at the
right where we're at.
Area. Yes, and I mean, there's a gold. I use a gold IB. Let me get Edgeful up here, and I'll share those stats.
Okay. It's tempting, man. It really is tempting to buy gold.
Yeah, I would.
But this higher time frame is like, it's actually looking like a better short.
We already broke the. Okay. There's 2 different gold IBs. I know some people who use this is Edgeful's trying to make me sign in on the wrong account. It's saying I don't have it. 1 second. No, I'm signing in.
My toxic trait. Yeah, chat. It's my toxic trait where you want to do something against.
I would look for sells there, but what I would do, Dakota, is I would wait till like 9:30 Eastern. So like another 40 minutes from now. Let me pull up the stats.
We usually see a spike in volatility in about 6 minutes. That's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. So is Edgeful sharing?
Let's take a look.
Okay,
if I'm going to share this, they're giving me commission, right?
No.
You're sending me a little something to the table for.
Yeah, so I use this 1 hour gold IB from 9 p.m. to 2 a.m. If you do buy candle close, it's pretty solid. This is the last 6 months of data. I like to do like a year or 2 years of data. So 75% hold rate off the 5 minute. And this is what I was doing yesterday, we did have a double break, but you get a lot of single breaks. So you just try to trade the side that ideally it breaks down, and then you
What's the difference
see
between the
a
double and the
retrace.
single?
Yeah, let me show you on TradingView.
Dude, I'm
So
flying out to Florida and you're teaching me this stuff, right?
yeah, I can do that.
And then I'll buy you a new keyboard.
My keyboard actually got messed up in shipping.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Okay. So this is last night. All right. We set the IV high. This broke the IV high. Then it broke the IV low. Then it broke the IV high again. And then it sold off. So that's a double
break?
Yeah. Where it breaks both sides of it.
Okay.
But with the stat, you're looking for a 5-minute candle close below by close.
Okay.
So once a 5-minute candle closes below this low or closes above this high, then that's where you would say, okay, this is where I'm pulling my stat from. If we look at, let me go to this night. So we set the high and then we break the low and then we hit these lower extension levels. So I had someone, I haven't really been trading gold, but I'm starting to again. This comes back up to the 0.5 on the fib and right at VWAP as well. And then it sells off into these lower extension levels. So this is like an ideal trade. This is what you would look for. You would look for one side to break cleanly, and then you look for the retracement leg, and then just to sell down to extension levels.
Okay.
My stop is also about to get hit again. I might give this a tiny bit more room. I don't usually touch my stop, but this is like this structure. It might come down and tap that structure is what I'm thinking.
On your,
I might give this like an extra 150
that
bucks.
NASDAQ trade.
Yeah.
What's NASDAQ? NASDAQ's basically a settlement where we yeah.
I'm gonna give it 650 bucks for the stop.
Okay. And I'm just gonna watch gold for another 3 minutes. I'm looking for a decent short, because I do think gold could sell off again back down to like,
yeah, it's right at the top of the range.
Yeah, I could see gold getting back down to 330s. It is Friday.
No, it's Thursday. It's Thursday.
Well, Friday's price action.
Oh.
Friday's
okay.
price action. Yeah, it takes me a time to get used to it, and then I'm just so used to it. Whenever I trade at night, it's always the next day.
Yeah. And that's thrown me off. The bank holidays have thrown me off because on the live account, if you hit your daily loss limit on like I've had it where it was like the day before a holiday or something, or like that next day was shortened.
Yes.
Or like the day before was shortened, and then it's like I go to trade it and I'm like, why didn't my DLL reset? And I'm like, oh.
Correct.
It's because yesterday was a bank day.
It sucks if you hit your daily loss limit, but then it's nice if you're in profit, right? Like $1,600, and you're like, yeah, great. I have an extra $1,600 buffer. That's also dangerous too if that's the
if you decide to throw it away.
I've done it before. I've done that before. I was like, I'm up $5,000. I have $10,000 worth of buffer now the next day.
Yeah.
Let's do. I'm also going to do this chat. If we do a hashtag slow markets, there's that. I also tagged you in it, Baron, for tonight to make sure everyone's on the same page.
All right.
We're getting a little bit of bounce in gold.
Are we? Let me.
A few ticks.
Yeah, it is.
A few ticks. Very, very small. It's
and we're about to get the volatility coming in, or the volume.
Yep. In about 30 seconds, let's see where this is going to take us. And what's gold at for tonight? Gold's at settlement 2, basically. We are flatlined across all markets.
Pretty much. I want NASDAQ to pump up a little bit.
All right, we're getting some wiggle in gold, and I'm gonna just turn on some tunes because flatlining is.
Dude, it's hard. It's hard to run a stream when the market's flatlined. Like,
Correct. Yeah.
there was that power hour session either last week or on Tuesday, and we were stuck in like a 15-point range. That's like, what do we do here? There's no trades to really be had.
You talk shit and try and be entertaining. I don't know.
Or like when we barcode. Like, barcoding is rough.
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're getting a little bit of a bounce here on gold. I'm gonna see about getting into a short here.
Yeah, that's what I would look for. I think he's.
We start making bets when we get bored and the market's not moving yet.
Yeah, we usually do.
That's usually what we've been doing.
Yeah, we didn't have a bet this week, Dakota. So should we make a bet for? Oh, we can do it. We can do it during the reversal challenge.
Yeah, we could do it tomorrow during the reversal challenge. Yeah, that's a good one. I forget we're both on there.
Isn't it? There's an options expiration tomorrow, so there might be a little bit of volatility.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, this is gold's popping up a little bit. I would look to try to short this. Where would I look for a short here? I would look to short this at, like, if it gets up to the 350 area, I would take a stab at shorts.
Okay.
But it's really pushing right now. I just look to fade that move.
Yeah, I haven't ordered a short net right now. But
do you want to switch to your screen? Because NASDAQ's just kind of barcoding.
Are you still in that? Yeah, give me just.
Yeah, I'm still in it, but it's just not doing much.
Oh, gotcha.
The gold trade's probably more interesting.
Not really. Not really.
I mean,
Let's
it's pumping. It's pumping.
Okay, I'm short. I'm short 5 micros. Here,
Is that the? You've been trading micros a lot recently. Is that your?
Yeah. Correct. I've been struggling a little bit, so.
Where'd you get in at?
I got in at 46.4.
Okay. Solid. Where's your stop at?
I have my stop at 56.4.
Okay. I would even say, because there's 2 IPs on gold. Someone did a 7 to 8 p.m. and that goes from 7 p.m. till 2 a.m. And that one has a pretty similar hold rate to the 9 to 10 p.m. one. I just prefer the 9 to 10 p.m. one because that's right when you get all the volatility coming in.
Mm-hmm. For right now on targets, I like 41. 41 is a take profit for maybe like 1 or 2 contracts. And then I also like those mid 30s. And then, of course, leaving a runner on until, heck, we might go all the way down to, can we see those lower 20s come into play? But, man, that would fade that bounce worked out really well.
Yeah, that was really clean.
That was...
It pushed right up to 49.
Yep.
Very clean.
Switch this to ticks.
So far.
Now let's see if we could break. If we break these 43s, I think we could just I think we just fall off a cliff.
I'd see if it breaks 40s, because look at all those lower wicks on the 5-minute during New York session.
Are you looking at those 41s?
Yeah, like the 40, 41 area. There's a lot of wicks there. I'd see if it breaks down there. See if it just flushes.
Yeah, I think
my NASDAQ trade's doing a whole lot of nothing. I really need the gold.
The real barcoding.
I know. It's coming back. I'm almost back to break even. But it keeps rejecting.
At least we're holding. We're holding that on the NASDAQ.
That's the one thing with slow markets. sometimes you're in a trade for like 3 hours and it just
I used to sit here and stare at the charts forever. It's like 3 hours later and
usually I'll just put orders in, and then I always use bracket orders. So if it hits my TP,
nice.
It cancels the stop. If it hits the stop, it cancels the TP. And then I'll go do stuff, like I'll go to the gym or cook or whatever it is, and I'll just check on the trade like every 15-30 minutes off my phone.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Put a trade on, go watch, eat dinner, do something. I might check it a couple times. Or like set an
alert on TradingView or whatever it is for if it's crossing a certain level.
Yep, and then right before I go to bed, I'll make sure that's where I want it, and then I'll go to bed. And all right, let's see if gold could... Yeah, there we go. We broke through those 43s. Let's fall off this cliff now, gold.
Push through 41s.
Yeah.
Should be good.
Yep, 41s is going to be key. I was going to close one contract off there, but if we could break through that and gain some momentum, I might be holding all 5 of these contracts down to like 37.
I mean, it could go further than that too, is the thing. What time? We end at like 10 Eastern. I can get you some extension levels, Dakota.
Yeah, let's hear your extension levels. I want to see how your extension levels line up to where I'm looking at this market.
The IB won't be set by the time we hop off, but I can have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, I want to see some follow through down here. Because that's the initial break through those 43s. It's people. Let's go. Needs overnight. Does Topstep have a mobile app? It's a web browser. It's web based.
Yeah, it's web browser. The web browser is not bad. There's just a couple things you can't do on the desktop that you can do on the desktop. I think the main thing is like changing your risk settings, stuff like that.
Yeah, and it does everything I need it to do whenever I check a position, but yeah, there's always more features that I think they're going to be adding.
I did have an idea for the Topstep product team. I need to talk to someone about it, because I was talking to someone today, one of my students, and he was like, well, I copy trade on like 4 or 5 XFAs at a time. And I was telling him, I don't think you should copy trade if you haven't had a payout. I think you should have at least like 3 or 4 payouts before you even think about copy trading. Just because you want to give yourself as many chances as possible. And I think a lot of people are like, oh, well, if I just get 4 or 5 accounts and I make $2,000 instead of making 2,000, I make 8 or 10 grand.
Yeah.
And like that is true, but if you're not to a level of consistency, it's just going to end up in, you're giving yourself 1 chance instead of 5 to get a payout, especially if you've never had one. But he was saying like, yeah, I would lock the follower account out, and then I realized you could lock the follower account, unlink the copy trader, and then re-add the accounts to the copy trader. So you'd only have 1 account locked.
Oh, okay.
I think if you have copy trading enabled, you should, when you hit the lockout button, it should ask if you want to lock the follower account or all accounts.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with traders. They're going to find a way to around something after they make an emotional decision or make a decision. And but yeah, I think if you make a decision to lock out when you're copy trading, it needs to lock out all of it. Or at least give you an option. They give you an option.
Yeah.
The right thing.
Or if you lock one account, let's say you have 5 accounts. If you lock one account, it should ask if you want to lock all accounts.
Mm-hmm. You know, me, I would probably fat finger and click yes when I didn't mean to. I'm screwed.
Like lock all accounts. It should just be like a little checkbox.
Yeah. But I have had to deal with multiple accounts since just being in the single live account. I've been in this account for a while now. I've considered. I've honestly was like, man, one account for so long. I know it would be easier doing what everybody else does online. But I think the stuff that Topstep has coming out is going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm grinding it out through the single live account. Waiting. I became a better trader, I think, doing this as well.
And just with one account instead of multiple.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, my performance in this live account has been so shit. And I don't know why it is, because I'm fine on other accounts, but I think this account, I'm like, I have a DLL and all of that. And I think I'm always trying to put profits in this. Like, I'll have good profits that I lock other accounts on or stop trading. In this account, I just don't. And I think part of it is I want to be on that top 5 live P&L board, like, consistently, and just continue to push it when I'm like well past an area where I know I would probably be on it.
Yeah, that P&L, the big board, the P&L board, that stuff is addicting. I was enjoying it so much. I started to care less about my trading and just be like, yeah, you know, bigger size, not managing my risk as good as I should have, because letting those swings take place to allow a better opportunity to just get on the yesterday's best. Even though I should have just like, yeah, I'm not going to take this $100 loss. I'd rather risk it because I could get in yesterday's best and it looks better for social media. And then that created some bad habits that it's taken me a bit to like, all right, sizing down.
I think I'm finally getting past the bad habit bit. It only took 5 months. 5 months.
That's about where I'm at. I'm on month number like 5.5. But
yeah, because I had last Friday I made 11.5, and the last trade hit and it put my balance above 10K, and I was like, that's it, I'm locking it. And it was like, I think it was at noon around that time.
Awesome.
And I usually like to end Fridays early. I usually like to end Fridays at like noon, sometime around there, where I'm just like, okay, I'm done trading for the week. Done looking at these charts. These damn charts.
It's true. The more you, I have the same thing. Someone's like, what's coming out? What's coming out? I don't know. The most I know and the best thing I could tell everybody in the chat to get inside information is just whenever MP is on, tune in on the day show.
Or watch his Twitter.
Yeah, his Twitter.
He always leaks stuff on his Twitter. He's like notorious Twitter leaker.
He does. Yep.
I have heard some inklings of stuff. I mean, obviously can't talk about it, but it seems exciting. It seems exciting.
Yeah, that's why I say I'm excited. Like, it's like, you know what? Just grind it out, getting better.
You probably know more than I do, but from the stuff I heard, I was like, okay, this would be dope.
No, honestly, I know just as much as you do. I know just as much as everybody in this chat does. I just pay closer attention to the Twitter, and I'm on air every day, so I might just be involved daily when everyone's not watching.
I mean, I don't watch daily. I hate to say it, but I don't watch daily. I used to. I would be at my like job and I need something to like listen to. So I'd put on Topstep TV.
Nice. That's what a lot of people do. It's good if you're busy doing something. Tune it on, put it on. You might not be trading, you might not be looking at the charts, but it's fun to listen to a lot. And Topstep's continuing. The Topstep TV is continuing to just get better and better and better. MP leaks everything as much as he can. Andre has to stop him sometimes. This
Nasdaq trade. The other ones were like, they were quick, like not super quick, but within. I got in this one and it took 20 minutes to start to move up. This one, same thing, 20 minutes to start to move up, and now this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 35 minutes. So it's getting slower. It's getting slower. I kind of like how it's consolidating though. It's just sitting in that range.
Yeah, I think the consolidation is on your side.
I hope it's on my side.
Exactly. Okay, here's a hashtag slow markets for us right there. I asked my 2-year-old if I should buy or sell in that NQ, and she said sell. Should I listen to her? Hey, her guess is as good as mine.
Have you seen those videos on social media where it's like someone has their dog pick what to trade, like what the stop loss and take profit should be?
Oh yeah.
During what session? There's like one guy who does it with like a chicken. He'll put like, he's like, this is my chicken, learn me how to day trade. So it's just like he'll do gold and then it'll be like buy or sell, what session, Asia, London, New York, and then what the risk will be. So it will be like 6 for 12 or 5 and 10, something like that.
No, I know they do that for like the Super Bowl or like playoff games.
It passed 100K challenge, the chicken.
That shows you how complicated people make trading sometimes. Gold's starting
just
to
very
push back
straightforward,
down.
defined parameters where it's like 2-to-1 risk during this session. Chicken chooses.
The chicken probably did better than me the first half of 2025.
Probably. I like this gold short, Dakota.
You like this gold chart, the short?
Yeah, the short looks nice.
Yeah, with the fact that we rejected those 45s again, and then we're pushing right back down. So if we break lows, like you said, I think if we break through those 41s, it's off the cliff.
Then it's dumpy. It's dumpy time.
It's dumpy time. Chicken or choke on a barcode. Do you ever have a time stop on your trades?
Actually today, so like all me and my two friends, we were hungry. I was like, I just put a trade on. I just put on a long. I was like, I'm gonna give it 15 minutes, and if it doesn't play out in 15 minutes, then I'm just gonna take it off. And it ended up playing out right as the alarm went off, right as the timer went off.
Oh.
And like, it was probably like a minute before the timer went off, and it hit my TP. I was like, okay, cool, let's go get food.
Sometimes that's what it takes.
Yeah,
I
and
do that
usually
sometimes as well.
Usually I don't like trading the last 30 minutes of the day.
Yeah, because you run out of time, right?
Yeah. I mean, I will take setups in there if there's something really clean. I actually have an edgeful step for that as well. So I don't know if I can. You want to switch over, Dakota?
Yep. I'll continue to watch this gold. We're pushing lower, so we're testing the lows again.
So I look at you can look at it for New York, or you can look at it for. I personally like to look at the daily. for this, where it's no new high or no new low of day made inside of power hour, so the last hour. So if we set up a high or set up a low of the session or of the day, then I'll look for essentially like a reversal trade off that low or that high, and you can get really, really nice risk to rewards on it.
And you look at this daily, right?
Yeah, I look at this daily. I go through the IB daily. Some of the other stats, I just kind of know them. Like I know this power hour one, I wouldn't really pull this that much unless I'm trying to explain like the reason for taking the trade in the Discord. But there's so many reports in here. Like there's got to be like 50 reports in here.
Are these the ones that you've made?
No. These are all pre-made.
Okay.
These are just ones that are made for you. I mostly just look at the IB.
Got it. We might.
This did stop me out.
The Nasdaq?
Yeah.
I'm still in this gold. We're chilling. You're still. That wasn't a big loss. You're still up like $1,000.
That was
right?
600. Yeah, I'm up 1,000 still.
Okay.
So.
You're up your DLL.
Yeah, exactly. See if I can make it work a little bit.
NQ selling off.
I still like the long. I just don't want to re-enter right at this low.
It looks like
I do if it comes back down. It looks like it wants to just push higher.
It looks like it wants to reject. It's still holding those. Yeah, it's just chop.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Asia. It loves to do these fake breakouts, fake breakdowns. So
yes, correct.
I'm used to it where it starts to break down. Like I would not chase this lower, because this looks solid for shorts, but this might just do a fake out where it fails to break down. I think there was one last night.
The Nasdaq.
Yeah, the Nasdaq.
I know. I'm gonna have Dobie come on.
Or this looks like a really strong bullish candle. And then
you might have to adjust. I'm seeing edgeful.
Oh shoot, sorry. Yeah, like this looks like a really bullish candle, and then it starts to push up a little higher, and then it just sells off on that. And then this doesn't break to the downside either. So it does a fake breakout, it does a fake breakdown, and then it rips all through. What is that, London?
Yep, that's
or end of Asia, I guess.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Well, now we're starting to push on Nasdaq down. We might just head straight down to those 40s, the bottom end of that consolidation.
I don't know. I think this might do a fake breakdown, Dakota.
Okay, let's see it. I hope so. I mean, I'm short gold. I mean, I'm always rooting for equities to go up if I'm short gold. Does it have an effect on gold? I don't really know.
It's not direct correlation.
Correct, but if I need to cheer on Nasdaq a direction while I'm short gold, it would be up.
Yeah. Sometimes you get them both pushing together, both selling off, both pumping.
Correct.
I mean, on Wednesday was crazy because Nasdaq and ES just sold off so hard, and then you look at gold and it just ripped up, and then in the after hours it completely sold off.
Great. All right, gold. Let's break these lows here. We're trying to on gold. New session lows. Yep. By a tick. By one tick. No, 3 ticks. This is what kind of a slow market it is. Yeah, that's why I was gonna bring Baron, or not Baron. Dobie on Tuesday, because he loves this type of market where you could just put a lot of limit orders on either side, and then when it spikes one direction, well, kind of like what gold did with us, spikes up, build a position opposite. It's reversals, counter trend.
Yeah, it's I mean, that's kind of what Asia is. It's just like I've seen it so often where it looks like it's going to break out or it's going to break down. And then if you were to chase to one side, it flushes you.
Yeah, let's see if gold flush. Come on, flush through these 41s. We're trying to. We are trying. If we could get to 41, I think it gets to those 39s and 40s really fast.
I kind of want a long NASDAQ right now. I did just get stopped out.
Hey, I would I need to get back into my old mindset of I'd rather take a loss buying the NASDAQ than taking a loss shorting it.
Why is that though? It's still a loss.
Right. But it's like I'd rather lose betting for the good guy.
But it's you.
I know it's just an idea that NASDAQ typically goes up and to the right, so odds are
that's not always the case.
It's easier.
That's why you
I
can't
know it's not
just
always the case, but it's easier to buy dips in the NASDAQ than it is to sell it.
Yeah.
Find places to sell it.
Andre was giving me shit for he was like, you don't agree with buy the dip. I'm like, no, I agree with it, but it's for like stocks and something that you hold for a long period of time. That's when you want to buy the dip, but with futures it's different because it could keep dipping for that day.
It's not
a
correct.
Yeah, for that day, or I mean, we saw it this year where we sold off all of March and into April and February as well.
That's like someone who's scalping 5 points is like, yeah, I'm just buying the dip. You're scalping 5 points in the NASDAQ. You're not. That's exactly what it is. Even though the NASDAQ is a basket of stocks, buy the dip in theory is based off of swing trade or a longer term outlook rather than
it's a basket of stocks and 10% of it's Nvidia.
Well, some days it's 100%. Seems like.
Yeah, when there's earnings or I mean, that's the thing with the NASDAQ because there's the top 10 companies hold 50% of the weight for the index. We had a day like 2 weeks ago where Tesla was selling off really hard and none of the other Mag 7 stocks were selling off and it just dragged NASDAQ lower and ES wasn't selling off that hard because it's just 5% of the index.
Top heavy for sure. Top heavy for sure. We got about 15 minutes. Yeah, let's come on gold. Make one nice move so I can close out a couple of these contracts for some profit.
I really want to hit the buy button on NASDAQ so bad. I'm just gonna sit. I'm just gonna chill.
Be patient.
I had my slow markets trade.
Yeah, you're up thousands. It's Friday, so Friday's price action.
I could just call it a day.
You could call it a day. Take a 3-day weekend. Because
we got slow markets. Or we got reversal challenge.
Yeah, we have that reversal challenge.
I can't call it a day.
Nope.
I can't call it a day, Dakota.
Yeah, tomorrow it's on. I'll have to double check on who's joining us, but they're just an afterthought. Who's ever joining us?
I think it might be Andre.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, I can tell you. Give me just a second. I'll tell you. I hope it's Andre.
Andre brings a lot of energy.
He does. Yeah. Andre and Dobie. Okay, that's a good one. This is gonna be. That's gonna be a good one. Me, you, Andre, and Dobie.
Yeah. What's funny is I'm also doing. This isn't like reversal challenge, but it's similar to it where I'm running a trade wars with my previous mentorship students. So
okay.
I put we set up a bracket of 16 people. So it's 16 people. They're going to trade AM session. There's going to be 2 people who trade against each other for AM session for the first 2 hours. And then there will be two people who trade against each other in PM session for the first 2 hours.
Okay,
And
I like that. That's fun.
Whoever wins the entire bracket, it's a $1,500 prize. So it pays for a set of 150K combines, set of 150K combines and activation fees at Topstep.
Sick. That's awesome. Topstep is going to, I don't know all the details. I'm just so excited to be here at Topstep, man. All right, here we go. Let's see gold.
This gold short. This gold short's cooking.
Let's keep going. It's slow, but slow in my direction.
If it falls through that, I think you might see a small bounce in this 41 area, and then it cuts through it.
It will. There'll be some stops popping off if we can get there. I think if it fails through 41, we'll get to like 38 really fast. Let's get through it. We're trying.
I think it might give you a minor bounce here, and if no one else got in it, if it bounces back up, that's where you would want to get in, short to the downside.
It might not even bounce either. Sometimes gold just goes.
Yeah, sometimes gold rips one way or the other.
Let's hope tonight's just that sell-off. 41s. Yes, Dario says, Dakota, now you were more patient than yesterday. I learned my lesson, okay? There's a flush. 41. Are we going to see a stop run below these 40s? Are we going to see that bounce?
This is how many ticks are you up?
53.
So you're up 5 points on gold because there's 10 ticks in a point.
Correct.
On gold.
Yep.
Slightly different from the indexes.
Yep, and it's $10 or a 10. Well, on
it's
increments of
what,
10.
10
So.
Yeah, $10 a tick on one mini.
Yep. Correct. We're getting that bounce, which makes sense. I mean, if I was gonna buy it, I would buy it right there at 41 with the cheap trade, hoax cheap trade. But I still want to see a flush through those 40s. I think we can see those. Here's a hashtag slow markets. Looking at this computer setup, nothing's better than a late night trading session like that. Nice. That's a warm vibe. I like that.
Just got some. I'm on one monitor right now from the move, so I'm used to having at my old setup. I had 4 monitors, so I had 2 here, 2 there.
Okay.
Like stacked on top of each other. Going to 1 is crazy to me.
Especially
like
trying to do this.
It's not even
and do everything else.
I think if I was just trading, I think 1 monitor is fine.
Correct.
But trying to stream and look at chats and trade, it's like 1 monitor is not enough.
That would be difficult. That's how it is. I can trade really well. Like what you see is how I'm trading, just 1 monitor. But then to have like OBS, everything else, I have 4 monitors and I have something on each one of them, but only 1 is dedicated to trading. And then when I travel, I have my laptop and I have a second screen, which I'm able to do this, but it's just a little extra work. Okay, there's that bounce.
Right where all those lower wicks were from New York.
Correct. Yep, right at those 41s. So now what if we now if we do get back down there is going to be the flush, hopefully.
Yeah, possible failed bounce. That's what I'd like to see.
We're paying for $200 is daily wage. You don't need big size, chat. 5 micros.
5 micros, you can make $500 with 5 micros, which,
yeah,
when you think about wages and how much places pay, if you're getting what, $15 an hour, it's $120 a day, something like that.
Yeah. Now I'm at $220, and depending, I mean, Topstep's international, so I mean, we had this conversation. Jay and I had it on Monday and a little bit on Wednesday. Is I know a lot of people who it'd be doing retired, and then they they fly out to Peru and they live really well off their retirement. Whereas if they would have stayed in like Utah or the States, they live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, I'm going to long NASDAQ. I think this looks like a failed breakdown to me.
Okay.
And then I'll just have my stop. I'm just gonna go. That last one was 3. I'm gonna go 2 on this one.
Okay. Look at gold getting right back. Jordan says guaranteed money. You can't compare the two. It's a comparison of cost of living.
Yeah, that is true.
It's a comparison of cost of living, not the guaranteed versus trading, right? It's the cost of living.
It is a pay to play game at the end of the day. But if you are able to consistently, I mean, when I was looking to quit my job at a 9-to-5, I told myself, hey, if you can get 6 months of $10,000 profit or more, or $10,000 of payouts or more a month over the course of the next year, then I'll quit my job. And I got 8 months out of I started that in May, and I was shooting for by the start of April. So it was 11 months. I had 8 months where I took 10K out of the market from prop firms.
Love it. Here's gold pushing the lows. New low on gold. We got that bounce from those 41s and right back making new lows. And we're just ticking the lows. It's not like we're breaking. So we still have yet to have a nice flush and run of stops. It's like we're just barely ticking them and then finding some buyers. So I still think we could get a nice flush through these 40s.
There is a low volume node at 40.8 to 41.2. If buyers step up and defend that, I wouldn't really like that too much. So I'd just be cautious of that. That's the one thing I'd be cautious of.
Yeah, this is that support and resistance zone. Same thing that you're pointing out here on the 5-minute, which, hey, if you're a buyer and you think this market's going up, that's a great place to buy. But I still think we need to run some stops into these 39s, 38s. Are you in NASDAQ?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I got back in.
2 minis. Okay.
Yep. The last one was 3. Just went down to 2.
Do you base it off your P&L?
Yeah, I will. So if I went with 3 minis, it would be $450, and that would be half my P&L. I don't typically. How I look at it is if I'm up on the day, then the next trade that I take should be maximum half of my realized P&L. So technically I could have gone 3 minis on that based off that system. I just decided to go with 2. But I think it's helpful because if you're up 1,000, if you're up 1,000, you lose 500, then you're up a 500 and you risk 250 on the next trade, then you risk 125 on the next trade. It can save your P&L from going super red.
Yeah.
It's a reverse martingale. It's a reverse martingale where you just keep cutting size in half as you go down.
Probably the right thing to do. I mean, that's kind of what I've used. If you struggle, you size down. If you take a loss, you size down. Too many traders, they stick with the same size for too long, even when they're struggling, and they ended up blowing their account.
Yeah, I mean, dude, back in November last year, oh my god, I was being a fucking idiot. Let's just say what it was.
Okay.
I had 5 XFAs. I had to run the total balance up on them to $110,000 in 4 days. And I was using between 5 to 10. And I hopped on for after hours. And I sized with 15 cons. And I was floating like 10K of profit. And then I brought my stop up to like 6K. I got stopped out on it. I re-entered with the same size, stopped out, re-entered with the same size, stopped out, and then I just revenge traded until I blew those accounts that day. And it was because I refused to size down. I refused to size down, and I didn't accept that my trade was wrong, and just over-traded, over-leveraged, and I think that was the lowest point I've had with trading. Was that day in November.
And you remember that day? It's very specific. Is just losing those.
I was a wreck for like 2 weeks. I was a complete mess, and this was before Topstep had the 5K payout cap.
Okay.
It was just up to 50%. So I was going for some crazy payout for whatever reason, but I could have literally just taken one more winning day and taken a $50,000 payout, $60,000 payout, something like that, and I just didn't.
I understand that. But now look where you're at, right?
Yeah, I went through that in November, and then December I just cycled combine XFA, didn't take a single payout, didn't hold on to an account for more than 3 days. And I went home for Christmas, and my friend group back home that I had known for like 10 years, they kind of kicked me out of the friend group because it's something I posted on my story that was political. They just stopped talking to me. And I was like, I've known these people for 10 years and they just don't even want to have a conversation with me. It's crazy. So I was pretty much bored out of my mind. For a week during Christmas time, and I used that time to be like, and this is also when the markets are super slow in December. They're just dead. There's nothing going on there. I took that time to reflect on what I was doing wrong, and I came into January. I bought one set of 50Ks, patched them, then I cycled them within a week, and I was like, okay, maybe it's the 150Ks because I'm using too much size right when I get into the XFA. So I switched down to 50Ks, and I was just using 10 micros or 1 mini, and I just did that till I had enough buffer to move up to 2, and then to 3, and I would sit at 2 to 3 minis typically. That's the size I like, 2 to 3 minis. And I would take a couple trades where I took one trade that was 5 minis. I had a 17-point stop, and my TP was like 180 points, and it hit. And I didn't scale at all. So I hit I actually think it was 165 points, something like that. Super clean trade. Just rode the momentum all the way up. And then, yeah, that kind of fixed it where I swapped off the 150Ks and went down to the 50Ks and just started using smaller size again.
If it makes you feel any better, I had a day this year where I lost $250,000.
I heard about that.
Yeah. But that's different.
Did you make it back?
What's that?
Did you make it back?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Was it
I'm
was
well
it was
on
it
that.
long-term holdings? Was it long-term holdings?
It was on a longer term, and it's intraday, right? Intraday, it doesn't matter whether
Yeah.
it's,
Okay.
yeah. So unrealized PL
You,
now,
you didn't
but
you didn't close for negative
still,
250K.
when you look at your P&L, unrealized or realized, and you see that big of a number, you're just like, oh,
Like that's a
really?
house. That's a
Yeah,
you just lost the fucking
that's
house.
kind of what you think of. You're like, and then the very next day, 200K. Like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? And then like
Yeah, I got a
literally,
meme. I got a meme for you, Dakota.
literally, it was like the day after, like it was like 150. It was like back to back to back, and then here we are, all-time highs, and I'm just sitting here, all that and then some. But that's the beautiful thing about longer term. Then I don't know if I could do that day trading, handle $250,000 swings day trading. Longer term stuff, sure, because a lot of it's hedged.
Hold on, Dakota. This is for you. Go to my screen really quick.
Okay. Do I want to? Let's see. Let's see this.
That was you. That was you this year looking at the 250,000.
Just lost the house. Oh yeah. The funny thing is, what did I do that day? It was just a normal day for me.
How did you feel when you saw that?
What's that?
How did you feel when you saw that P&L?
Nothing, because like I said, a lot of what I do is hedged, and it's longer term stuff. And in less than 2 months, we were right back to where we were. And so it's like, yeah. Plus, I was selling some cash secured puts on things like Nvidia, and it's doing really well. I mean, like I said, here we are hitting all-time highs in all of that. And so
Nvidia continues to just rip up.
It's insane. Everyone's pumping Bitcoin and just talking about Bitcoin and making all this money on Bitcoin, but yet Nvidia doubled basically. And it's just like Bitcoin did not double. Bitcoin has not doubled the past 3 months, but Nvidia basically
Bitcoin
has.
was down to
Like 80,000.
75.
Yeah.
It was down to the 50s. It was down to the 50s area back in August
of last year. But I'm talking about from April this year to today. Nvidia is just mind-blowing, just insane. And then it's crazy. It's crazy to see what some of the stocks do in these types of markets, and then how it affects like the NASDAQ. This is
what has been pumping? Ethereum. Ethereum went from 1,400 in April to 3,600 now.
Is it?
Yeah, so that's more than a 2x.
First time I touched crypto, I tried to buy. I remember I tried to trade Ethereum, and that was when it was at like $4,500.
My first real day trading experience was day trading Dogecoin.
Oh.
During COVID.
Day trading Dogecoin.
Yeah, I was doing it on Robinhood. I was like, this is so easy. Why doesn't everyone do this? And I just buy and sell, buy, sell, buy, sell.
I'm running late. We were supposed to end 15 minutes, but we went a few minutes past. So any last words, Baron? I hate to cut it short. We're actually 3 minutes long, and I am running behind.
I'm ready to win the reversal challenge tomorrow.
Okay, tomorrow. Make sure you have your practice account ready. Reversal challenge. Me, you, Andre, and Dobie is going to be fun.
Yeah, this should be fun.
Yes. All right, guys. I'll see everybody bright and early tomorrow, and you, Baron, tomorrow during Power Hour Reversal Challenge. Take care, everybody, and see you then.
All right, I'll see you.